Hey guys, what's going on? It's Non-weaponized preparedness back with you. What's going on, guys? Hey, so with the tensions between Russia and Ukraine flaring majorly, I wanted to talk about, is Russia to preparing to invade? Is Russia preparing to invade Ukraine? And what does Putin actually hope to obtain from that? At least 100,000 troops are pre-positioned within reach of Ukraine's borders as Russia demands security guarantees from the rest of the West. The United States says 70% of the forces in place, says Russia has 70% of the forces in place for a full-scale invasion, but Russia has repeatedly said that it had no plans to. What happens next could jeopardize Europe's entire security structure. Let me read that again. What happens next could jeopardize Europe's entire security structure. Russia has long resisted Ukraine's movements toward European institutions and NATO in particular. Its core demand for the West to guarantee Ukraine will not join NATO, a defensive alliance of at least 30 countries. Ukraine shares borders with both the EU and Russia, but as a former Soviet republic, it has deep social and cultural ties with Russia, and Russia is widely spoken, and Russian is widely spoken there. Pavlovsky. When I think of everything going on today and everything that has been going on of late in the world, not just the Russia Ukraine conflict, I think it's time that we bolster our preps and be ready for something major to go down. We're just in a waiting game here, guys. We're just in a frickin' holding pattern. The threat has been taken seriously because Russia has invaded Ukraine before. When Ukrainians deposed their pro-Russian president in early 2014, Russia annexed Ukraine's southern Crimean peninsula and backed separatists who captured large swaths of eastern Ukraine. The rebels have fought the Ukrainian army ever since in a conflict that has claimed more than 14,000 lives. 14,000 lives. Now, how big is the risk of invasion? Russia says it has no plans to attack Ukraine. Yeah, right. And Armed Force Chief Valery Gerasimov even denounced reports of an impending invasion as a lie. NATO's Secretary General warns the risk of invasion is very real. And while U.S. officials have stressed they do not believe Russia has decided on an invasion, they think it could happen in the coming weeks. In the words of Ukraine Prime Minister Boris Johnson, quote, "This is probably the most dangerous situation in the course of the next few days in what is the biggest security crisis that Europe has faced for decades, and we've got to get it right." President Biden's top military officer, General Mark Milley, has warned the scale of the Russian forces would cause a significant amount of casualties and fighting in urban areas would be horrific. Ukraine is less convinced of the risk, and its president has appealed to the West, not to spread quote unquote panic. France believes Mr. Putin's main aim is in gaining a better security deal. Nevertheless, President Vladimir Putin has threatened appropriate retaliatory military technical measures if what he calls the West's aggressive approach continues. Thousands of Russian troops are taking part in exercises in Belarus close to its 674-mile-long border with Ukraine. Russia's deputy foreign prime minister recently compared this current situation to the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, when the U.S. and Soviet Union came close to nuclear conflict. Insert Hunt Fred October here. When I was 12 years old, I helped my daddy build a bomb shelter in our basement because some lunatic parked a couple warheads 90 miles off the coast of Florida. This thing could park a couple hundred warheads off the coast of Washington and New York, and no one would even know till it was all over. That right there, guys, is why I prepare. Not for nuclear conflict per se, but for the fallout of the nuclear conflict. So I'm going to end the live video here. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. A lot of Ukrainians actually want to move back to the old USSR style of life. For half the country, any Russian troops are seen as liberators rather than invaders. It's a right mess. Homebrew Roaster, you couldn't be more wrong. You just absolutely could not be more wrong on that. I'm going to end the live video here, but I will be back later on after dinner. Non-weaponized preparedness signing off.